Lapse the steering wheel here. Give me the steering wheel. Hey, steering wheel. Somebody tell him to give it to him. Come on. Whoa.
Your leg, mate, please. Your leg.
How the f*** is this possible?
I'm driving like a grandma. Get that, Ralph? Did you hear me? From the radio. The radio. Ralph, acknowledge. Now, come on, close him down and kill him. We've got a lunatic on the track down the interstate.
I am so annoyed.
What happened? Episode 900 is already screwed up. Oh, boy. Hello and welcome back inside the Park for May for podcast number 900. You heard that right, 900. That's a big number for you and I. I don't know what that is in dog years. It's dead in dog years. This is Todd.
No, Todd, not now.
Yes, a.k.a. Native Camber. You know why I've asked you here.
You must convince the villagers that I'm harmless.
That's exactly what I need you to do. Tonight, we're going to have fun. We're going to do something different for Podcast 900. And to help me do that and to, something fun, something exciting, right? And to help me do that, of course, I have to introduce both my co-hosts. It's very rare we get both of them on. But the first one is all the way on the right coast of our nation, nestled nation's capital. You know her, you love her, the lovely, the redoubtable Grace. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Todd. And I really think you make it sound like it's because of a scheduling conflict. I really think it's because you don't want these minds to all be together in one place.
I'm outnumbered, man.
It's true.
Terribly outnumbered.
So
We'll
true.
just
doubt about
take
it.
it right off the rail. Like you can control one of us and keep us on rails, but both of us together,
I know.
who knows?
I know. Well,
He
Grace and I
cries
are
himself to
joined
sleep
by
right
none
after these
other-
podcasts
I do.
on his huge pillow.
Iceland. He's bad. He's beautiful. He's crazy. It's
Hello, everybody. This is Paul Charles, the International.
All right, Paul. Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day, so you might want to bring your Hawaiian shirt if you have one. So yes,
Yeah.
I am sporting the Heart of
I
Racing,
was told I'd get a piece of cake.
my stapler. Yeah. Well, after Grace's, I mean, you can't top what Grace was doing last week, but
know.
I felt like I had to bring at least something to the game rather than a race car T-shirt.
Yeah.
So there we have it, the
No.
Heart of Racing Hawaiian
Very good.
shirt, which
Love
hopefully all the team will be
Love it.
emblazoning for a fine Instagram shot tomorrow. Just
That,
released.
okay.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout
Yeah.
for the Insta-lame picture of Paul and the entire crew on Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Yes.
That's right.
Excuse me, senor. I said no salt. So anyway,
I'm gonna blow this whole place up. I could do it. Strychnine.
could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume.
Jumping to conclusions.
so-
Don't you get it?
I have people skills.
What's wrong with you people? Oh, boy. So this is podcast number 900. Before we get started, I have to thank all of our Patreon supporters. And we have several of them joining us live, and you can too if you're a Patreon supporter. You can join us live. You can interact while we're doing the show, and you can watch the show live. No ads, no fuss, no muss. It's awesome. So thank you for all of you for joining live in the chat. Much appreciated, and a huge appreciation to all our Patreon supporters. We could not and would not have done 900 episodes without you. So very, very grateful for all of you. So having said that, what do you do for 900? I don't know. They're milestones, and we're terrible. I'm terrible at celebrating milestones, but I got to thinking about the number 900, and I thought, well, 900, it's our 900th podcast episode, millions and millions of downloads over the years. We're excited about it. 900 is a number divisible by 3, and that's the first thing I thought. And I was thinking, well, with that in mind, let me just calculate up some hours. So on the main podcast alone, I've spent approximately 3,000 hours recording and editing shows on these 900 episodes, which, as it turns out, is a third of a year.
Yeah.
24/7. So that means if January 1st I started working on podcast all night and all day, it would go for a third of the year.
Yeah. Let me count on my fingers how many hours I've spent re-editing podcasts. Yeah, that didn't take long. Thank you, Todd, for making it all the way.
Yeah. Right. I've had some doozies I'd had to edit through.
Yeah. If it was up to me, it'd just be like a scratch cartoon written on a napkin idea, and that's about it.
Right.
I go back to drinking my beer. Yeah.
Right. Right.
It would just be a bunch of TikTok dances, right?
Yeah. It's it's
Interpretive
crazy.
TikTok dance.
I spent a third of a year doing this.
Yeah. Feels like a whole one.
Very patient.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It does feel like a lot longer, if I'm honest.
Especially when you have a dropout in the middle of a podcast and you have to tie it together somehow.
Yeah. It's happened to Grace and I twice where we've had to, something didn't happen and it didn't record and we've had to redo
Do it again.
the entire podcast.
Yeah. This time with
We've had to do
feeling.
that twice.
Yeah.
Grace and I laugh because when we do it that second time, man, it's succinct,
fast,
it's snappy,
right?
it's crisp.
Like
we're on it.
It's like you already know what's coming.
I know. Even our jokes.
That's Sutil. I
like
tell you,
we
it's
rehearsed it.
Sutil. That's right.
That's right. I know. It's like we rehearsed it or something.
I know, right?
It's pretty funny. So in that, and so in podcast terms and thirds, it means, podcast 300, 600, 900, right? So it's a third. But there have been 1,115 F1 races over the 75 years, and we're catching up to them. So that's the good news. I was thinking about the podcast, and I was thinking about, well, what were we talking in thirds? If you think podcast 300, podcast 600, and then tonight, podcast 900. And I went back and I looked. Podcast 300 was on February 5th, 2013.
My gosh.
And that make you feel old, doesn't it?
It does. That was like 7 hairstyles ago for me.
That was 300 episodes in.
I was much taller back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had hair back then. Yeah, it's amazing. And I was trying to find Paul. It's somewhere in the hundreds, I think, when you came on board, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I came on just to preview Le Mans, I think.
Yes.
And then you found out I knew a couple of things about Formula One also.
We never let you go.
And the rest is history.
And then I got those compromising photos of you, and you've had to do it ever since.
Yeah, when I tried to get out, for sure.
Yeah. Paul, you want these pictures released? Okay. Yeah, a little blackmail for Paul.
Lederhausen, never wear them, people. Never. Never leads to
or
good
if you
things.
Do, don't do it in public where you can be seen.
Definitely not.
So podcast, on February 5th, 2000, what were we talking about back then? We were talking about a possible Mexican Grand Prix back then, suggested for 2014, which is now a reality.
As long as Sergio stays at Red Bull.
Yeah, right. That would be important.
You like my bass? You like it?
Most people don't, right?
Most people don't know.
Yeah. No,
They
not
do
really.
like Carlos Slim's money, though. But anyway.
Yeah.
They definitely like that. Also, Grace, you'll get a kick out of this. We were talking about Adrian Sutil joining Force India.
I love some Soodle. This was like before we knew.
It's before we knew that he would take a broken champagne flute as a shiv and go after somebody's neck.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Didn't see that on my bingo card, as they like to say these days.
No. Did not have that on my bingo card either.
Yeah, maybe
We were
Giedo
talking-
Vandergarde, but not Sutil. Come on.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. Caterham picked Guido Vandergaard as the driver to pair with a young and spriteful Paul di Resta. PDR.
Classic F. And
that?
the rest is history on those guys, too, literally.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And Caterham, right? Well,
Yeah.
what happened to those guys?
Yeah, both of them are like, Yeah, and then we were talking about Hulkenberg was over at Sauber.
Ooh, look at that. Cyclical.
I know. See how it all.
Yeah.
And Sauber still in F1, right? That's a stake F1 Audi Sauber. Right?
Yeah, we'll just move on from that one.
Yeah, we just go on. We're talking about testing back then because testing was there. We were talking about the new power unit regulations for 2014. Ecclestone's sponsorship deal with F1 and Emirates for $200 million.
Whatever happened to those kids?
Yeah, whatever.
Here.
Both of them. Let's see. We were talking about the departure of Lewis from McLaren. And Ron
Right.
Dennis
Stupid move, Lewis. What are you
demanding
doing? It's going to ruin your career.
It's going to
That's
ruin
right.
it.
What the hell is he
move.
thinking?
We went
Mercedes.
back to podcast 300. I was defending Lewis's choice. The departure, and then Ron Dennis demanding loyalty from all of his employees because he knew he'd get poached. So he said, if you cut yourself, you bleed McLaren.
Oof.
And I would say that accurately describes Grace.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Blue and orange.
I mean, she cuts herself on a thumb that's like papaya blood. coming
Yeah.
out. It's weird.
Doctors don't know what to do. It's very weird.
What kind of
Very
blood group is this?
perplexing
Yeah. It's RD1. What?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, just
See
lay
how I
down,
did that?
take a cold compress.
Well, very good.
I did. It did sound medical. And we were talking about McLaren's 50th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Ian says if you bleed papaya for more than 4 hours, consult your doctor.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes,
Good
Peter,
advice.
mine is definitely red. Yes,
Yeah.
mine is red. So that's what we were talking back in podcast 300. What were we doing on podcast 600? You know how we celebrated that? On
No clue.
November 4th, 2018?
The best way we know how.
The best way we know how? It was the full wine and cheese episode.
Oh, yes.
We didn't say anything about F1. It was just the wine and cheese, and we had
Yeah.
I had several people. What the hell? That's BS.
What
man.
none of the
F1
people wanted,
podcast."
but we wanted to do it anyway. Yeah.
We did it anyway,
And
and
you can
everybody
get
was
your-
upset.
Get your own podcast, people. That's what I feel about
I
that.
know. I know.
It deserves another
Everybody was
relook,
upset.
quite honestly. I mean, wine and
Yeah,
cheese has
really.
evolved. You know, there's different
It
things
has.
now. Yeah.
I think you guys were all in love with Manchego.
I was just going to say,
There is
Paul
no
Solis,
way.
Manchego.
No
You
way.
were.
Ever.
You guys were like gushing about it. I didn't even know what it was because I'm over
Never
here with American
happened.
sliced cheese, you know, and cheddar, sharp cheddar.
I
Is
love
that
some
the white or the
Velveeta.
orange cheese, the manchego? I don't
Right.
know.
And Paul's like, well, no, if you drizzle a little gorgonzola. I'm like, I don't know. Whatever.
A little quince paste. It's delicious.
yes.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I have
Quince
no
basin.
idea what you guys are talking about.
Little hot honey.
And that leads us to today, podcast 900. Tonight, I thought it would be fun to talk about some milestones. As such, I thought it would be good to recap the 100th through 900th race in Formula One. And you guys tell us when your attachment point to Formula One was as we go through these, right? So Paul's attachment point to this podcast is somewhere in the 100s. And as we go through, we'll tell you where we were and if we were into the sport. And you guys share with us when you jumped in. So the 100th Grand Prix in Formula One happened on August 6, 1961. It was the German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Oh, and big hat tip to Alan Baldwin for compiling this list. Alan and I are like, no, we're not. I don't know Alan. I'm sure he's a good guy, though. I don't know him. But anyway, I got this list from him. 100th Grand Prix. Sterling Moss won in a Lotus for the privately run Rob Walker team, Paul. You know Rob Walker.
Yes. Rob Walker,
with American Phil Hill on pole for Ferrari. It was the Britain's 16th and last F1 victory, ending a 4-race streak of Ferrari wins. In 1962, Moss, 4 times a championship runner-up, crashed at Goodwood and retired from Grand Prix racing. So
Wow.
there you go.
Yeah.
That was back at the 100th Grand Prix. Did you ever
And
meet
which
Rob
Grand Prix
Walker?
was that again, did you say?
A German.
German. Okay.
Yeah.
Tough race to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Sterling
ever
with
meet
his
Rob
straight
Walker when
arms.
you were a kid?
Every
Yes.
time, every racing school I've ever done has said, this is not the way to drive. Only Sterling Moss could actually drive that way and execute. It's crazy. Still don't understand it. I still do not understand how he did it.
No, I don't either. Yeah, it was straight arms. Yeah,
Yep.
I remember that now that you say that. Let's see. Grand Prix 200. That happened on May 23rd, 1971 at the Monaco Grand Prix. How fitting. Jackie Stewart won from pole for Tyrrell. And this is where it gets interesting for Paul, because Paul is a fanboy of Ronnie Peterson.
Oh, yes.
And
Jackie Stewart.
the Swedish, Yes, and Swedish great Ronnie Peterson, who died at Monza 7 years later, was second for the first Formula One podium finish.
Woof. Ronnie Sideways Peterson. Yeah.
Yes. And while Jackie Ickx was third for Ferrari, the race was later immortalized as, quote, Weekend of a Champion, a documentary by Roman Polanski on Jackie Stewart.
Wow.
I've seen
and
that.
can you believe I've actually met
documentary.
all three of those guys?
Have you?
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a great movie, by the way, and I recommend everyone seeing it because it really gives you the atmosphere of what Formula One became. It was like, became a media event, not just a sport during the Jackie Stewart times, right, with his big sideburns and everything. But yeah, so I met Jackie at Indy 500. He was in a suite that I was at. So I got to chat with him for a little bit, but I was like so overawed I couldn't. I say hello, yeah. I felt like I was meeting the Beatles, So I was trying to think of something really cool to say, but didn't come up with anything. I did meet Ronnie at the Silverstone during the World Endurance Championship, and I got to ask him a couple of questions, and that was very cool. He was surprised by my questions. They were better questions than he was expecting from a 7-year-old at the time. So he was like, really? And then, Jackie Ickx, I only met him for the first time a few weeks ago at Spa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when we were meeting Spa, he was walking around. He was like we did that little Fun Cup thing with Volkswagen where I got to drive Spa. Yeah. And he was waving the green flag for that race. So he was touring around. He came into our garage.
Random.
And we got to speak to him, and I got him and Hannah a picture together and everything. It was very, very cool. Jackie was
cool.
Yeah, he was a great sports car race for sure. Obviously, he did a lot of stuff in Formula One, but sports car is where I became, enamored with, Jackie Ickx's prowess behind the wheel for sure. Yeah.
Well, this is I had drinks with Jackie Stewart.
Oh yes,
that's Jackie and I'm Pam at show. Pam's with show.
Did you also just go, I think
what's it like? Yeah.
No, I told him, if it's not Scottish, it's crap.
Hey,
Dune.
Yeah.
New.
Yeah.
It's like Sputnik. Yeah.
Now, if everyone wants books to recommend, and I would highly recommend Jackie Stewart's book. Highly recommend.
Me too.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Awesome.
Ditto.
Many levels to that.
I totally agree. That's a great autobiography, as is Murray Walker's. I enjoyed that one too.
That was a good one too.
Let's see. So I came into the sport at the following Monaco Grand Prix a year later. So I was like this big. I was a very young boy. Yeah. And I remember sitting on the couch with my dad watching that race. So that was, and I got it's right up there somewhere. I got the little Corgi. I still have it. Lauda 72 Corgi.
Yeah.
British.
Now that was back when that was probably the only live F1 race. Was it live when you watched it?
Yes, it was like one of the only races they showed.
They ever showed. In the US, maybe they showed the US Grand Prix, but basically back then it was hard to find. But Monaco was the one race they got some live TV footage. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah, so that's when I came in. Let's see, the 300th race was the South African Grand Prix, Kyalami, not Rwanda Grace, but Kyalami. March 4th, 1978, again making Paul a very happy chappy. Ronnie Peterson was the winner in a black and gold Lauda 78.
Yes.
With reigning champion Niki Lauda on pole for Brabham. American Mario Andretti was to win the championship that year. The race also saw the debut of 1982 world champion Keke Rosberg, father of Nico.
Nice. I actually saw...
How about that?
Yeah, I actually saw KK's first ever F1 win, which was at Silverstone. They used to have the Race of Champions, which was a non-Grand Prix point scoring race, but they'd let different people in, and he won it it was a crazy race, and he won it in a Theodore. I think Theodore definitely didn't come even close to winning a race ever again, but I think everyone crashed out. But it was a crazy, crazy race. But yeah, correct. KK was he was a lot more. He was a lot like Peterson in a way. His style of driving, quite honestly. So
was he?
Because I could see. I saw him race F3 and F2, and he was sideways most of the time, I would say. Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool. Very
So
cool.
more Ronnie, less Nigel.
For sure. Yeah. He was. He always drove that way. So I was actually a big KK fan actually when I was younger as well. But yeah, Ronnie winning in the Lotus 78, which is significant in that year because Ronnie had to drive the 78 while Mario got the 79, the better ground effects car, till like halfway through the year. And I was always angry at Mario Andretti just because Ronnie wasn't getting a fair shake of things, you know?
And that's kept him out of F1 ever since. Your anger.
That's right. Keep at it. Keep at it.
Keep at it. It's keep, Let him complain.
Don't let up now.
You're going to get a call from the DOJ next week, Paul.
That's
Oh,
right.
Are
Jesus.
you still adamant that Andretti doesn't join F1? Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
Keep him out of the sport. You guys are jerks. Got the Lotus 79.
Yeah.
Let's see. Race Grand Prix 400 was on August 19, 1984. It was the Austrian Grand Prix. How fitting that Niki Lauda won his home race for McLaren despite late gearbox problems that he was masking. It was his 23rd win and gave the Austrian the championship lead in a year that was to end with him taking his third title. Lauda's compatriot Gerhard Berger, a future McLaren Ferrari driver, made his debut with the ATS BMW team. There's a throwback, Paul.
Yeah. Remember that car very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big throwback.
Yeah, that was quite a season, wasn't it? Old age and treachery won that championship rather than speed and youth. It was by half a point, right? That was crazy.
That's what Alonso's hoping for now.
Old age and treachery. That kind of sums him up.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect description.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I guess when you think about, I mean, they're obviously very different characters, right? But they probably had very similar brains, and they could figure out ways to be competitive, even if the car wasn't at some point, and get, basic squeezing blood out of a stone at some point.
Yeah. So Peter, his first race was Monaco, Graham Hill winning 62, 63. I can't remember which one, Peter. And Militime, his was in 87. So he joined just not long after the 400th. And so according to the chat with our Patreon support.
That was 87, 88. Wow, that's some amazing driver lineups back then with PK and Senna and Prost. I mean, that was just a never-ending list of talent. Not unlike what we have right now, quite honestly.
Yes. Right. 500th Grand Prix, the Australian Grand Prix in Adelaide, not Melbourne, November 4th, 1990. Brazilian Ayrton Senna started on pole for McLaren, but compatriot Nelson Piquet was the winner for Benetton. The race was overshadowed by the previous Grand Prix in Japan, where Senna had collided with former teammate Alain Prost and won his second title.
I don't remember that incident. Anybody?
No,
I don't think that's been categorized in anything.
No,
Weird.
I mean, even if that did happen, if there's a gap and you don't go for it,
you're no longer a racing driver.
Right.
That was back when
this race.
Sorry, I'm just remembering Australia at the end of the season was the very best. Grace, did you were you in Formula One when they? Oh my God, because it's good being at the beginning of the season. I think the crews love that, but at the end of the season, everyone just let out steam at the end. The last race was Australia, which is not a better place to party, I think, in the world. And they just let loose after that weekend. It was like every F1 team's favorite Grand Prix, not only because it was the last one, but because they got to celebrate the last one in Australia, I think.
Yeah, that's this was also Nigel Mansell's last race for Ferrari.
Oh.
Yes, at the 500th Grand Prix. And then for the 600th Grand Prix, this is the Argentinian Grand Prix in Buenos Aires. And on April 13th, 1997, Canada's Jacques Villeneuve to
What happened to that guy?
that year.
Really?
No idea, other than pissing Ricardo off.
I wish I didn't know.
Yeah. To be champion that year with Williams, won from pole after taking victory also in the previous race in Brazil. Ferrari's Eddie Irvine was second and Ralf Schumacher third for Jordan. How about that?
Wow.
Well, how
Yeah.
about that?
How about that?
The 700th Grand Prix was the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos, April 6, 2003. A chaotic Grand Prix. The torrential rain and the race stopped on the 56th of the 71 laps due to crashes. McLaren's Kimi Räikkönen was announced as the winner, but 10 days
remember
later,
that.
you remember, Grace, they had to hand the victory back over to Jordan's Giancarlo Fisichella. And Fissy picked up the trophy at Imola. The win was Jordan's last win in Formula One and their 200th start. And Fernando Alonso was third, but missed the podium because he was getting medical attention.
It's just the win.
Wow.
It's just
That
the way
was
it
that.
has to
Who
happen.
else is in that crash? Was Webber in that crash too? Or am I misremembering? There was a big. I know there's a big one in the uphill left-hand last one. There was just cars all over the place.
It was a Jordan in that crash.
Okay, it might have been another time. Seems a bit too early to be Webber, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, if I'm ever
Yeah.
afraid that I'm starting to get dementia, remind me not to talk to Paul.
No.
What just happened
know.
there?
What?
He's like, oh, yeah, that was the race. Fissy had those pink driving shoes on.
Yeah, that's right. You don't remember that? And the yellow helmet? What? I don't know what just happened there. I watched that race. I mean, I remember that was a big thing, right? That he,
Yeah,
that
it
Kimi,
was.
Because I remember the picture in Autosport of, what is Kimmy's default face? But in this situation, he looked sullen or sad. That he was just like,
Yeah.
This
There you go.
is the trophy, like, meh, great. Meh.
I remember that. Yeah. And then the 900th Grand Prix, coinciding with the 900th episode. This, most of you will remember. It was the Bahrain Grand Prix, April 6, 2014. You had, I'm sorry, I missed the 800th. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The 800th Grand Prix was the Singapore Grand Prix, September 28, 2008. The first.
This is the one we all remember.
Yeah, we remember
Oh,
this
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know.
boy, do we. This was the first night race under floodlights. Turned out to be a dark one after it emerged a year later that Nelson Piquet had crashed deliberately on lap 14 to bring out the safety car and help Renault teammate Alonso win from 15th on the grid. Ferrari's Felipe Massa, leading from pole, could also feel that race cost him the title. The Brazilian
Certainly
leaving the
does.
pits-
Yeah.
It certainly does. The Brazilian leaving the pits with the fuel hose still attached and dropping to last. Yep.
Never forget.
He ended the season losing to McLaren by 1 point. 2008 was
Damn you, Timo
Massa's
Glock.
year, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I forgot
Yes.
about that
From
one.
cheers to
We
tears.
all remember
That
that
is
one.
for sure.
Yeah, that was tragic. Okay, back to 900. The Bahrain Grand Prix, April 6, 2014. Nico Rosberg started the third race of the season on pole for Mercedes, but his teammate, Lewis Hamilton, who had started alongside, won after taking the lead into the first corner. A late safety car deployment allowed Rosberg to get close to Hamilton, but again, Lewis stayed ahead and took the win.
So is this one of the exciting Bahrains or one of the boring Bahrains? Do we remember?
Well, I think it was the...
Were they really
was the
duking it out?
first-
I'm trying to remember this one.
Yeah, remember when they banged front wings and a chunk of Nico's front wing came off. If memory serves correct, was the first year Lewis and Nico were together, or was it the second? Could have been second. And everybody was wondering, how's it going to go between Nico and Lewis? And they kind of banged wheels, I think, at this race at Bahrain.
Not great is the answer.
But they were the best of friends
Yes.
after that. They made up and
Oh,
got
they
along
sure
famously.
But
famously indeed. Yeah.
here's your hat.
Yeah. John says his first race was Bahrain 2006.
Uh-huh.
He said that he fell in love with Alonso and Ferrari.
There you go.
Nice. Alonso 08, John.
That's right.
That was Grace's mantra back then.
At this rate, it'll be Alonso, 2028.
Yeah. And we still all love Alonso, right? I mean, who doesn't love
Yeah.
Alonso?
Yeah, who doesn't love Alonso? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I thought tonight, just to mix things up and to have some fun on this podcast, I thought it might be fun to do, when they do those rapid fire questions for the drivers, do you like tacos or pizza, and they're going to go tacos. You like this or that, right?
Pineapple's
Yes.
disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pineapples on pizza.
I thought it would
Disgusting.
pineapples on pizza.
Yeah, I should clarify. I love pineapples, not on my pizza.
I disagree.
So I thought, oh, that's nasty, Paul. That's just nasty.
I'm a fusion
You
guy.
know, they're like, that's like accordions. There ain't no damn reason.
That should be the title of the show.
That should be the title of the show. Why do you do this? I don't know. No damn reason.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
900
Why do-
episodes later.
Why are you guys stuck with this podcast for this long? No damn reason.
Oh.
You know, it's just,
I like the cut of their jib. It's fun.
yeah, why not? Why not?
I got a long commute.
There's other newer podcasts that have more. Yeah, they are. They're great. I wish them galactic success. But the thing that I really do enjoy about this is the community we've built, not
Yeah, for
necessarily
sure.
the numbers.
Yeah.
The community that we have is awesome.
And I'm lucky because I'm at the races a lot, and you guys aren't, and
Yeah.
I get to meet a lot more people than you do actually. And
yeah, you do.
we were just doing something for the team downstairs, a little video thing. It's kind of fun, but Haley, a PR girl was just saying, so many people come up and ask me, where's Paul? They don't say, where's Roman? Or they ask Roman, where's Paul? So it's very cool.
Great.
I say I'm lucky to get to meet everyone. And over the years,
Yeah.
people show up at the same races, and it's super, super cool. So,
It is. It
yeah,
is.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I do too. It's
You should get a shirt that just says like "I'm Paul"
I'm
or
Paul.
something like that.
Yes.
Paul.
yeah. So it's really the community that we have that makes all of this worth. Why would I spend a third of a year recording and editing?
Yeah.
It's because of the community.
Yeah.
And it's not that we make any money on this. It's just listener supported. So anyway, but we do it for the community. Because you guys do that for us. You guys support us. So we are incredibly grateful. So I thought tonight what might be fun for Podcast 900 is to do this sort of rapid fire this or that questions for Paul and Grace. And this,
Okay.
and so you'll get to know both of my co-hosts.
I know that's a good idea.
After we go through
I feel like this is fun for not Paul and I.
it's a blast for me because I can't wait to see what you guys pick.
Because as usual, we can always fix it in the editing, Grace. You know how that always
Oh
happens.
yeah, I learned
right.
that last week. Editing
Right.
fixes everything. No problem.
I can spend 3 hours editing this tonight, and so I thought it would be fun to go through. We'll start with Paul, go to Grace, and then we'll ping pong back and forth. And I have several of these, but this is going to be fun. And I know there's going to be choices that you guys have to make that you may not want to make, and so you'll have
man.
all these caveats about, but you got to pick. And it's rapid fire, so I won't go through this too fast because there's a lot to talk about on this. But I thought it'd be fun. So here we go.
Okay.
All right, Paul, straight up, Arrows or Benetton?
Arrows.
Oh,
No doubt.
nice.
Yeah.
Arrows. Okay.
Yeah. Long story on
Very
Arrows.
nice.
Just I fell in love with him when Riccardo Prezi was leading the South African Grand Prix, and I'm like, who is this team and who is this guy? And ever since then, I followed Riccardo, and he drove for Arrows for many years. So that's the history. And I had
That's cool.
a big puffy, those puffy jackets in the 70s.
Yeah.
I had a big puffy Warsteiner jacket, with
Yeah.
arrows on it and everything. It was, I was a
Nice.
geek. So to
Nice.
speak.
It was a geek. That was nice. I like it.
and you're still a geek, just better threads now.
Better
True,
dressed.
true, yeah. Although technically, I'm not sure anyone said that anyone wearing a Hawaiian shirt isn't a geek, but I'll take that. Sure.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Grace, you're up.
All right.
Here we go. Coulthard or Weber?
Oh, I think when they were racing, I would have picked Weber. But now that I listen to Formula One TV, listen to their app as opposed to listening to Sky, I've really warmed up to David Coulthard as an announcer. So I think I would now give David Coulthard more props. But as drivers, not so much, except that he raced for McLaren, and that's definitely, a positive in that column. But
Yeah, and of
you
course,
would pick
the Schumacher Coulthard incident is a highlight of everyone's
Spot 98.
replay. Yeah.
That's right.
We made it 30 minutes before that came up.
It was
It's a
good.
record.
It is. It's a good record. Let's see. All right, Paul.
Okay.
Ferrari or Porsche?
Porsche. But absolutely nothing to do with Formula One, right? It's got to do with
Okay.
sports cars.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and all of yours that aren't specifically about F1 are open to be sport cars. Some of them
Yeah.
are sports cars. So
yeah.
just so
but,
we know.
but street
And
car,
that one I
Ferrari.
have as sports cars.
Race car,
Yes, streetcar
Porsche.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of the Porsche 917?
5.6s actually.
Long tail?
956, 962s. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, Grace.
All right.
Here we go. Barf One or Marusha?
Oh, Barf One every day, all the time.
Right.
Barf
right.
One, the greatest team name ever.
Yep. BARF1.
Yeah.
You know what we should have had is shirts with the zipper on, with like Parc Fermé on one
Yes.
side and Formula One blog on the other side.
On the other
Right.
one. That would have been good. Yeah.
I know. I have so many. I went with a current iteration of our T-shirts. I have so many throwback T-shirts. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think a lot of people don't understand why we're the name change, or never even realized we used to have another name, right? And there's a big history
Yeah.
there. There was a big fight going on, and we lost.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
then everyone and their mother has F1 in their podcast
I
name
know.
at this point. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's insane. We had Formula1blog.com. That's what we were for a long time. And when we had to change, by Formula One forced us to change. They were all lawyered up, forced us to change. We did. And we switched to the Parc Fermé, but we lost a lot of listeners at the time. They just thought we quit podcasting, but we didn't. We're over here. But there's only so many times you could run around and say that. Hey, we're over
Right.
here. I feel I'm bad at shameless self promotion. So
I think the only
yeah, so
positive
that's-
is look at how much free promotion we get now at Formula One races.
That's right.
Because we
Yeah.
have all the signs for Parc Fermé. So a lot of
Right.
free advertising.
like, hey, look, it's Parc Fermé.
Hey,
Hey, hi guys.
They're
Yeah.
Listen to
great.
those guys. Yeah. Oh, Parc Fermé must be sponsoring this little section of the
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Right.
The place
let's
that George
see.
Russell was really mad about. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They do that.
Look at that. Bell just
Right.
nudged the number one thing right in the Parc Fermé's
Yeah.
little personal space.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
Yeah,
That's gonna
right?
piss Grace
so
off.
rude. Absolutely.
Let's see, Paul.
Yeah.
Left or right foot braking?
Right foot.
Were you over there doing this? Like, did you have to figure out which?
No, because you're left foot in karts, and there is advantages to left foot braking, but I'm a right foot braker, and I think there's advantages to that depending on the type of vehicle you drive, right? But me and Ian James, for instance, still right foot
Yeah.
breakers,
Ah, interesting. Okay. What about Roman? Is he right foot or left?
left foot. And any of the people born after 1990 are left foot breakers, probably, but
Left foot. Okay.
and that with sequential gearboxes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
makes it easy.
All right, Grace. Here goes a tough one.
Oh, boy.
This is a tough one. Kimi or Lewis?
Oh, Kimmy, come on.
Okay. All right. Just
Not
I
so
thought
tough.
that would be the answer. I was just checking.
No, I don't. I really was prepared for that one. That one was, I got it. Kimmy.
Yeah. Peter's with you. Kimi. Ian says Kimi. They're all with you. All right, Paul.
Yeah.
Another similar tough one for you. Hunt or Peterson?
Oh,
Oh, that one's a gut shot to Paul.
that is very hard. That is very hard. I'm going to have to say Peterson, but man, that's tough.
Look,
That's a
that
toughie.
close.
Yeah, so close.
Yeah.
So close.
Yeah. Yeah. I was curious on how that one would break down.
Yeah.
I really
yeah.
was. Because
I've never had to do that
Peterson
before between those two, because same era, but
Yeah.
very different people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Because I know how much you like both of them. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, that's going to be a really tough one for you.
Yeah.
Grace. Button or Vettel?
Oh, Button. Vettel.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, Button.
Okay. Even is that Vettel Is that over their racing career or over their whole career? Because you softened up to Vettel after he stopped winning championships.
I did. Well, it's really after he left Red Bull, right? I didn't like this Vettel, right? But when he was like hanging out with the bees Vettel, picking up trash Vettel, older,
But then you always had Button with an asterisk on his world championship. So.
I mean, I guess that's the question, right? Are we talking about the race careers, them as humans who I'd like to spend time with? I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with Button. Probably for
I
all
wouldn't have picked that. I thought for sure you'd say Vettel. That's interesting.
Me too, actually.
I mean,
I was betting on Vettel.
Yeah, that's surprising.
I will say that yes, definitely. Now Vettel, or in his last few years when he was in Aston Martin, that Vettel, definitely. Red Bull Vettel, not so much.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good. I
mean, Button was the pool boy, right? Like, I mean, that's not
right.
I don't know that's a.
That is true. He was your pool boy.
I know. So.
But if I was gonna go sit down and have a beer with somebody, Vettel, full.
Oh, so for sure, because I think there's and especially because I know not everybody's a fan of like the 8 million. I swear there's a new one every week of the Formula One, unboxed videos, right?
Yeah.
But I really think they should have Vettel playing at home, because ever since that time when they didn't name all the world champions and backwards, and Vettel was like, I'm not sure. He's totally a bad actor. So he totally knows. He could have just done the list straight from who won last year all the way to, the first one. And he's pretending like this is hard for him. So that's why I always think that they should have Vettel at home playing as my benchmark. So I know how good or bad the other drivers are, because amongst themselves isn't as good as against Vettel.
And that's what Peter said in the chat. He goes, Vettel's history memory over lunch.
Yeah. Beautiful day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's for sure somebody like Paul that you could just be like, don't you remember that? Oh, yes, I remember. He was wearing pink shoes and a yellow helmet. Yeah, I mean, great.
I don't remember anything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Paul, you're up next. Here we go.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this. I don't know, maybe not.
Okay.
Spa or Suzuka?
Well. Yeah, that's
tough.
That is tough. I don't know, because I've obviously now I've driven Spa and that was amazing, and now Suzuka is still the track that is unobtainium at the moment. Hopefully never, but I'm gonna have to go with Spa just because I know every single corner on that track is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Spa. Let's see, Grace. This is going to be a fun one.
For who?
Hulkenberg or Rosberg, the two Nikos.
Oof.
Hulkenberg. I'm not Rosberg. Pineapple and pizza.
Now, is that Rosberg post-racing? Because, he's very enthusiastic about absolutely everything versus, the cold-hearted Rosberg who for 1 year, but yeah.
So I think Rosberg, I feel the opposite, right? Like I think Rosberg, especially when he was still with Williams, before he really, there was a lot of potential there that we all saw. So I think I liked young Rosberg, not now Rosberg. It's the opposite of Vettel. I didn't really like young Vettel, but I like now Vettel. So I don't know, maybe it balances out.
My hunch, I could be way off on this. My hunch is that if you're going to have dinner with both of them, not together, but both of them.
That would be fun too.
I think that would be fun. I think Nico would be a hoot. Hulkenberg. I think Hulkenberg would be a hoot.
Oh yeah, that I think's true.
I think I would fake choking and lie on the floor till someone dragged me out of the room so I wouldn't have to eat with them.
Wow.
With Hulkenberg, you don't want to eat lunch?
Hulkenberg, I don't know. I find him uninteresting. I think he's a great driver, an uninteresting person. So he'd just kill me with boredom, but Rosberg would just kill me with personality. It's like, so one of my worst nightmares. That's
where I was going with this, is that I do think Hulkenberg would be fun, but less like all into it. Than Rosberg. I think Rosberg would go down into the long grass with you.
Yeah, he'd want to share your nachos. He'd go, hey, let's just double up. We'll share everything. Hey, try some of mine.
He might say, would you have me on your podcast?
I think both of them would require alcohol at the meal, but for different
sure.
reasons.
Oh,
For
God.
sure.
So much so I wouldn't make it anyway. So, yeah.
Which of the two of them is more likely to like a curry?
Hockenberg. For sure.
I don't know.
Nice.
There you go. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Good one.
Can I have dinner with Nico Rosberg and just ask him questions about his dad? As if he's not a famous race car driver, just his dad.
His dad. He's a world champ, Grace.
That's right.
I would pay to see that interview. Less about you, more about your dad.
That's great. But can you tell me more about your dad?
You remember that time when your dad did that thing? That was great.
That would be great.
Can you imagine?
That-
I was sitting here, having dinner with Rosberg, and then David Falsecchi is your waiter. Oh my God. I would literally have to shoot somebody.
Oh my gosh.
The steak is so amazing. Did you see the butter on the steak? Oh.
Honest to God, there's only one scenario I can think of that would force Paul to be in jail time, have jail time.
That would be
and
it.
it's if he was forced to be around Dave.
Oh, yeah, I'd sutil him. Yeah.
You would. You would.
The breadsticks, did you enjoy them? No, David, I
Oh my
did not.
gosh.
Just go away.
Oh, that right there, that's a banner moment of the 900 podcast. Listening to him do Davide is just priceless
great.
for me. I'm sorry, folks. I'm trying to make it through
maybe
this.
you need instead of Albon's cats like we have on the off weeks, you need that somehow to make that an every week
Yes.
feature.
Yes. We should. You know what we ought to do? See if Paul will call some of his race at a IMSA race as Davide.
Oh my God.
Romy, he's so incredible. How was the Aston Martin? That would be great.
It would.
Let's see. All right, Paul, you're up.
Okay.
Here is a tough one. And I think you're going to offend me on this, and that's okay.
Okay.
Senna or Schumacher?
Senna.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
You did do that.
I got your back. I got Michael's back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good.
Schumacher.
Oh, good.
Well, I guess
Gigi says Senna, and I think, I totally get that. I like Senna. I've said this many times on the podcast before, and I'm sure Gigi's heard me say this, but I love Senna. I think Senna was freaking awesome for a host of reasons. But whatever reason, I just sort of found myself gravitating towards Prost a little bit more. And that's odd for me because now I like the drivers who bang elbows, who get in there, that, give it hell and make their car wide. I love that now. But at the time, I guess I was having a Jackie Stewart hangover, I think.
Melton's comment of Ralph.
Ralph.
You didn't specify which one.
Yeah.
Bruno or Ralph? I don't know. Yeah.
It could have been Mick. Who knows? No, I was talking about Michael. Sorry. Sorry there, Melton. So, yes, I think for whatever reason, I had a Jackie Stewart hangover and thought that appropriate driving was the way to go.
Yeah.
And Prost was just impeccable at that.
Yeah.
Senna was aggressive and everything. And I love Senna, no doubt about it. But yeah, I was always a Schumacher fan. I watched him come up from the early days and just always liked Schumi.
Both of them were ruthless, and it's
Yep.
but just pure natural talent,
God-given talent.
God-given talent. Senna, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone that matches it still.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Grace, here comes a toughie. Very difficult. Ron Dennis or Zach Brown?
Oh, well, that's those are two polar opposites.
Ooh, I thought that would be a good one for a McLaren fan.
That's like vegan or steak. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very different.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Ron Dennis will always have my heart. I think that's,
Nice, Ron.
I can't let, I think they've both done such great things for McLaren,
Yeah, they
completely
have.
differently, right?
Yeah,
And
for sure.
no, I'm gonna have to go with Ron Dennis. I think
Okay.
Ron Dennis, I think he should just start showing up at the races like Flavio Briatore does, right? Like I think Ron should come back, like some blue sunglasses, just hang out with people.
Looking to get rehired.
All for it.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, Paul.
Yeah.
Here's another toughie. Prost or Stewart?
Stewart.
All right, I knew that one.
Yeah.
All right, Grace, here comes one of the hardest, and keep in mind your audience currently listening.
Oh, okay.
MotoGP or F1?
Like, do we really have to have this conversation? We could just
This
go
is
by based
awkward.
on what's in my wall.
It's like, which kid do you like? Which kid do you like more?
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously MotoGP. I think if it wasn't that I did this podcast and hung out with you guys and talked to people about it, and I mean, maybe that. I mean, I don't know. Was that? I don't know that was. I think if I would have said Formula One, I would have gotten just as many comments that were like, "Well, Grace doesn't know how to lie." Great.
Yeah.
But I think that's been.
But was that always the
wait for
case?
them.
Or was there a time you got into Formula One and then discovered MotoGP, or did you discover them at the same time?
No. I got into Formula One first and then started watching MotoGP. But I think it wanes, right? Because just like Formula One, MotoGP has great seasons and not as interesting seasons. And so I don't think it's like consistently like this or something, right? Like it's not always, like they kind of jockey for position around a central point. So, but yeah, if you said to me, Grace, you can only watch one this weekend, I would probably pick MotoGP, unless it was, Suzuka or Spa or someplace Brazil, someplace I really knew Formula One was going to be great. Hungaroring because McLaren will win, but otherwise, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I don't. That's where it is. I'm telling you, people. If I had not
That's the way
said
it
that,
goes.
Luckily, we
people
don't have to
will be
choose between our children. We just have to keep in
That's
our
right.
heads which one's our favorite.
People often are like, oh, the Park for May, the one where Grace comes on and pretends to talk about Formula One and then just only talks about MotoGP for 20 minutes.
Right.
But watch
All
it,
right.
people. What are you doing with your lives?
Let's see. Paul is next. Now, this is tracks, Paul.
Yes.
Okay.
Le Mans or Sebring?
Le Mans.
Le Mans. Is it close or is it by a mile?
No, it's close because obviously I've raced and been at Sebring a number of times, and I love it. I love that track and the layout. But Le Mans, I don't think anything matches Le Mans, But there's a lot of tracks in the US that are fantastic tracks. This is why a lot of European drivers love racing in IMSA, because they get to drive tracks like Sebring and Road America and things like that. There's some great tracks in the US here. But Le Mans is Le Mans, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It is Le Mans. Grace, another toughie. Since you've revealed yourself,
Again, I think people knew. I don't think this is a reveal, but okay.
I'm shocked.
since the secret is out,
What is the secret?
Marquez or Pecco?
All right, I'm going to assume Mark Marquez and not Alex Marquez.
Yes,
We don't need a
Marc
repeat of that.
Yes, Mark Marquez.
I guess I'd have to go with Pecco. I think Mark. Why was that a surprise?
Kind of was.
There's history and there's the new kid,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's-
I don't know that. I mean,
I was going to ask Marquez or Rossi, but I know the answer to that
it's
one.
Rossi.
Yes, and then
but
I was going to ask Marquez or Stoner.
Oh, now, see, I think that's a tough question too. I mean, I think those
Yeah.
are two different riders too, and I think I wasn't so hip on Stoner in the beginning,
I
but
remember.
again, I think I warmed up to him towards the end, and then he retired, like a Rosberg, like, well, I'm great, I'm out, and
Yeah.
so that was that. I think in this season I don't have. I mean, even when we went to Austin, we were sort of like, whose gear do we buy? And I don't really have a rider. That's why we kind of went with Pedro Acosta. That was like, he's great and he's new, and so it was a good place to lay my hand. But after I I was a big Dovey fan, a Danny Pedrosa fan. I really haven't,
I've even gotten a Costa
so-
t-shirt.
Fine.
Yeah, see, everybody should. And I think that, so I wouldn't say I'm a Pecco fan, but if I had to pick between Pecco and Marc Marquez, I have too much history with Marc Marquez to pick Marc Marquez. I think Ducati Marc Marquez, this part of his life is very different than his before this part of his life. Kind of like Vettel, right?
Okay. Well, Mark, I know you listen. I got your back. I choose you over Pecco.
I take it all back, Mark, if
I
you're
got your
listening.
back. I got your back.
You're great.
Paul, this is in relation to sports cars.
Okay, lovely.
Okay. Not F1. 1960s or 1990s?
'60s. If you'd have said '80s, I would have been a harder sell. But
Yeah,
'60s,
yeah.
those cars are phenomenal. The drivers, as in Formula One, putting their life on the line every week. I mean, just lots of horsepower, no safety. Just unbelievable what those guys did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's how you would answer that. Grace.
Marc Marquez.
MotoGP.
Does anyone have anything for Marquez?
I do love that.
Okay. This is being interesting. Indy 2005 or Belgian Grand Prix 2021?
Oh, ouch.
Oh.
Ouch.
Killing me.
That's a tough one.
We do not, Ian, that's right. We do not speak of this. None of this.
Ian's right. I brought it up, Ian. That was terrible of me. But I knew it would be a tough one
Yeah.
because they were both royal
Terrible.
cock-ups.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Spa because I didn't have to be there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
that
reason.
was the question. Which did you hate the most, or
which one I
despise
hated
the
the
most,
most
or did you like the
Indy.
most? Yeah, despise.
I don't know which it is, but Indy I hated more
Yeah.
because I
'Cause
had
you were
to
there.
be there.
Yeah,
and
right.
although
Right.
I did witness a lot of people hate Tony George, which, we were joking about Sergio Perez not getting fired before Mexico. Yeah, there was a lot of people. I was like, Tony George,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah,
might
Melton
get a
was
few
Melton
more
was at Indy.
security.
He says I was at Indy.
Yeah.
Grace was at Indy during that debacle. It was
I was not.
that
at
was
least
Formula One at
Spa-
its worst politically and
Yeah.
decision making process. It was ridiculous.
Worse
At
than
least-
Belgium, you think, Paul?
Yes. Well,
Yeah, I think
yes. They nearly didn't have a choice at Belgium, right? But they had a choice. They had a lot of time to stew over how to actually put on a proper race, and they just decided against it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it would be better. Yeah. It's Spa.
Okay.
I just went away
Yeah.
and got some pizza or something.
Yeah, they
right?
should have
Like,
said we can't possibly hold a race here. But Formula One in Indy, they could have held a race and they could have made adjustments. They just decided not to.
That's right.
Yeah, I think Gigi's right. 6 cars versus all cars behind a safety car.
A Jordan podium. That's right. I
At
never
least
forget.
I go with some racing, I guess.
Yeah, something happened.
Right. All right, Paul. A current one.
Okay.
Current grid, Formula One. Current grid. Ocon or Gasly?
Gasly.
Good answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I figured that.
Much bigger
I was gonna
future for
question-
Gasly. Ocon's going to
Yeah.
eventually burn every bridge. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to question everything if you said Ocon.
yeah, I would too.
I was going to throw off my headset Paul style and just
Yeah. Just slam the
that
laptop
slam the
down.
tile and
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
out.
That's what you guys don't get to see when Paul's done with the podcast. And goes, okay, guys, just bang, just slams the laptop down. Screw you guys.
Like somebody joked on the
Done.
last podcast that it was, my internet problems was like an Irish goodbye because all of a sudden it was just like I was gone. And
Yes.
that's Paul. He's just like, okay,
It
we're
is.
done.
We're done.
Goodbye.
I haven't even done the outro yet.
No.
So, okay. Similar, Grace, Sonoda or Sato? I know you like Sonoda, but I also know you love Sato. Right.
Oh. I do love both of them. I'm going to go. I'm just going to go with the Kumasato. I've seen him race
Nice
in
choice.
IndyCar. And
That is a
I
good choice.
met him because, at IndyCar, especially at Baltimore, you could nobody knows who anybody is. And so you're just like, hey, how's it going? You're,
You're
Tony
famous
Kanaan,
and stuff.
What's up? Yeah,
You're
but
famous
nobody
and
else knows who these people are, right? Because everybody else is just there. And I'm like, hey, Tony Kanaan, how's it going? Right? Or like, so, hey,
Right.
Sato, what's up? So,
Hey, Michael
I
Andretti, watch it out with that golf cart.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't help it they didn't build this grandstand that they gave me tickets for. I mean, that was still great because they're telling us, it's over by the Oriole Stadium. I understand where the location is supposed to be. I'm from here, right? Like, I know where the ball stadium is.
Yes.
I can look on a map. There's no grandstand there. So where would you like me to sit, right? But, so I'm going to go with the Kumasato.
Taku. All right.
Yeah.
Got it. Paul,
Yes.
Tyrrell or Hesketh?
Woo.
I'm throwing you some wicked googlies.
They are really good and really close, but I'm going to have to go with Tyrrell, and I'm going to go with Tyrrell for one reason, the six-wheel
Six-wheeler.
Tyrrell.
Gotta.
Yes, I thought so.
But I
All
did love the Hesketh and everything about
Yeah,
it
I
from
know you
beginning
did.
to end. I just
know.
loved that. And
I know you
luckily,
love
my
the
buddy
team.
Tommy Byrne got to race a Hesketh at the historic F1 stuff, and that was
Oh,
cool.
cool.
Yeah, but definitely, if there was any Formula One car. If they said you can pick anyone, it would be the six-wheel Tyrrell. So that's why I'm going with Tyrrell.
That was such a cool, iconic car.
Yeah.
Grace, let's just see if this holds true. Alonso or Kimi?
Oh.
Ooh.
You
know
built
she
up
loves
to this
those
one, didn't
out.
you, Todd? You kind of threw a
I did.
couple of easy ones out.
What?
Yeah.
None of these have been easy.
Oh.
Everything I picked.
Yeah. I knew this would be tough because she loves both.
I do love them both. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Kimmy. Gosh, but that's hard.
Yeah.
I love some Kimmy. I
Yeah,
love
I know
Fernando
you
though.
do.
But
All right, Paul.
Okay.
Current tough one.
Okay.
F1 grid.
just the
Fernando.
current tough one. Yes, right.
Yes. Fernando or Max Verstappen?
Fernando.
Ah, interesting.
But are you asking me to pick who I want to drive my Formula One car? It's Max. But
It's Max. Yeah. Right.
but
That's good.
But Fernando is
All right.
just too much good history in that boy. Max is still making history, right?
Right. Yeah, Fernando's, he's awesome. All right, Grace, another toughie. George Russell or Charles Leclerc?
Ooh, both
Oh,
very
Charles
well dressed
Leclerc.
men.
They are.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with Charles
You
Leclerc.
go with Charles Leclerc. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now, this is a throwback, Paul.
Okay.
A throwback. Let's see if you get how you answer this. I'm very intrigued. It's sports cars.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Halewood or Jackie Oliver?
Who's the better driver? Mike Halewood.
Mike Halewood.
But Jackie Oliver was one of the founding members of the Arrows cars. So, and also drove the Shadow Formula One car, which is a very super cool Formula One car from the 70s. So that's a tough one, but I'm going to have to go with Halewood for sure.
Halewood. All right. I thought about Mike Halewood versus Vic Elford. How would you answer that?
Then I would have gone with Vic.
Vic? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I thought maybe you would. All right, Grace. Let's keep it U.S. centric here. Vegas or Miami Grand Prix?
For the race, I would go to Vegas. For the city, I'd go to Miami.
Okay.
Actually, Miami, not Miami Beach, not a parking lot outside
Miami
of a
Gardens.
football. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Miami Garden, not a football stadium parking lot. But yeah, for an actual race, I'm going to Vegas. That race.
Okay.
I'll skip both and save up my money for Montreal. But there you go.
Well, I mean,
I know that wasn't an option because that was too easy.
I like Paul's option. That's good.
Yeah, I do
Always go
too.
to Montreal. What
I
are you
do
people
too.
doing? What are we doing here right now? We should be in Montreal.
Yeah, go to Montreal for crying out loud. Have some pommes frites and mussels, and then go enjoy a Formula One race on a 5-minute train ride.
Right.
Exactly.
Right,
With
right,
your best
right.
friends. It's great.
Right. All right, Paul. This one's going to expose you.
Oof.
Sports cars or F1?
Yeah.
That's a MotoGP F1 question.
Yeah, I was going to say
You know,
sports cars.
Cars.
It's so funny because I can never. They're like two different completely things for me. You know, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with sports cars because that's where my history is
what you do.
everything. But I nearly don't see them in as the same sport. Actually,
Yeah.
sports cars have got so many different levels to it, and Formula One does too. But they're so radically different. They've become so more radically different than maybe they were in the 70s, so to speak. But it's just very, very different entities for me. Nearly like MotoGP and F1 for Grace, quite
And
honestly.
F1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Grace. Max Mosley or Mohammed bin Salem?
Oh, Max Mosley, but I don't like either of these choices.
And that's why I did this one. Because
these
unlike
are
the other
great.
ones, unlike Fernando and Kimi, I know you don't like either of these guys.
No, I don't either, but I would take Max Mosley.
That's kind of like asking
that's
you,
funny.
Todd, pineapple on pizza or cilantro?
Yeah. I do the pineapple. I gag when I taste cilantro. It's horrible. It's like, oh, that's nasty. Let's see. Paul.
Oh, I'm up again.
Niki Lauda or Gilles Villeneuve?
That's an intriguing. Two drivers of very different ilks. So I'm going to go with Niki Lauda.
Nice.
Yes, which is against, when you look at, I like Peterson, I like Rosberg, they're sideways everywhere. Villeneuve was very much of that,
Sideways
just
everywhere.
super spectacular. The difference being that Gilles had so much talent, but his decision making didn't allow him to be as successful as he ultimately could have been or would have been. He should have been a world champion, a multiple world champion. But his flamboyance and his approach and everything, where Lauda was the other way around, he worked definitely didn't have as much natural talent as Gilles Villeneuve did, but made the most out of everything. And the wily Lauda won 3 championships through it. So, yeah, deep respect for that guy.
Yeah.
You crazy.
Yes. It's like Ian said, damn you. There's a whole podcast here. You're right. Yeah. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Grace. This will be fun, and Paul will be judging.
Oh, good.
Oh, boy.
I'll get my notebook.
DRS or HD tires?
Max Mosley.
Max Mosley. Yeah.
Ah.
She's nearly fallen over. She's passing out.
No, I guess DRS. I don't know.
They both kind of make you throw up a little in your mouth, right? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I
They
don't know.
totally do.
Yeah.
I know your answer is neither, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to pick
I have to
one.
pick
Okay.
one.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Paul,
Thank God I didn't
this
get
is
that
Formula
question.
One. Yeah, I knew your answer. Okay, this is Formula One. Qualifying format now or the qualifying format from 1998?
Now,
Now. Okay.
yeah, I like it. I think, they haven't fixed it for a while because it doesn't need fixing. Thank God they tried to fix it, but yeah, I think the format is great. I'm not sure about the whole tire compound thing they come up with every now and again, but I think the format is good. I think it's good. Don't touch it.
All right.
And I
The
like
one
it
thing they
better
got
now that
right.
I don't have to listen to Crofty explaining it every time.
Yeah. All right.
No one likes that.
Let's see, Grace. Stefano Domenicali
Yeah.
or Bernie Eccleston?
Oh, Domenicali. Not when he was at Ferrari, but I'll take him now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I meant as head of F1. Yes.
Ah.
All right, Paul.
Especially because he says things, as we've noted, and it's like, one team principal of Ferrari, Stefano Domenicali, have said that. No, but this guy does.
But think of all the things Bernie said.
Well, Bernie still says, I'm like,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
John says if they do reverse grids at this point, I will riot.
Yeah. Good. We'll join you.
Yeah. All right, Paul. V12s or V10s?
Oh, they're both great.
You just went through a whole range of emotions there.
I did.
Uniquely different. They're both different. They're both uniquely beautiful in their sounds.
Yes. So
and it's hard to choose.
But I have to bias. I was going to go V12. But then I was like, man, those V10s were amazing. And they just sang
that
such a tone.
Scream, that wail.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
haunting banshee wail they have.
Yeah, but I just think V12s are a little dirty. I don't know if that makes any sense. I just like it.
Yeah.
And of course, our Valkyrie has a V12, and that thing is beautiful noise. So
yes, V12 for you.
The V12.
Okay, Grace, V8 or hybrid?
Not the hybrid is definitely. You could have put anything. You could have been like Fred Flintstone pedaling a car.
It's a V8. Okay.
And this is coming from a woman that drives an electric car.
I know she does.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but these are different things, right? I love driving my electric car.
Yeah.
I don't like watching electric cars. So those are
no one likes that. No one likes that. Did you hear us, Formula E? Just stop it. Stop it now.
Yes, stop it. Paul.
Yeah.
BOP or DRS?
One's very personal.
I feel like we're going to have a therapy plan.
You kind of are.
Like you have
bringing up all the
for us.
I suppress so many of these emotions about these things in this little tiny ball in my stomach. And it gets heavier every year, obviously. Yeah. One day it's going to explode, and it may just be tonight. I'm going to say DRS.
DRS. Oh, nice. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because I hate it literally for so long now.
Yeah, I do too.
BOP, it's annoying. It's irritating.
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, but it's like someone touching you like constantly like this. And he's like, stop it, stop it, stop it.
Stop it. Leave me alone. Let's see, Grace. James Vowles or Toto Wolff?
Oh, James Vowles.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's the way to go. I mean,
I'm going to FaceTime Susie.
I'm on Susie. That's not fair. I mean,
Susie or James Vowles' wife.
Yeah.
I don't know her name. That seemed.
I don't either.
But,
right. Mrs. Vowles.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I'm very into.
Gigi said, would anyone choose Toto?
Maybe not, but certainly not funny. Ocon or Mick Schumacher. So
yeah. All right, Paul. Similar question. Christian Horner or Toto Wolff?
Toto.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of haterade on this call for Christian.
Yeah, he's just becoming a little.
Yeah,
I had a lot of time for him, but he's just become a little bit more irritating. Toto's kind of let me down a few times recently as well, for sure.
Yeah.
And his reaction, his approach, and everything. But it's not really like these are my favorite guys. But if I'm gonna, I think Toto. Toto's maybe a bit more entertaining, but he's a bit reality TV-ish in his reactionaries now, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Grace.
Yeah. There's a little bit of fear that wells up every time you say my name. I just want you to know. Every time.
Flavio or Gunther?
Oh, Flavio. He's the original.
He's the OG.
Yeah.
Yes.
Genie Flavio.
Yes,
Okay,
a
except for that.
mankini.
And no, we don't need to see whoever has a picture of Gunther in any sort of mankini. We don't need
No.
that. Please don't.
But if you wonder, if you go Google Flavio Briatore Mankini, you will hopefully find that because that scarred. Grace
Hopefully
for
you
life.
do.
But do that at like the public library. Don't do that on your own machine.
There may be a knock
God.
at the door very quickly.
Right. Like, I'm just saying, don't do that on your machine. Do that on
Right.
somebody else's.
Right. Okay, Paul.
Yes.
Alan McNish or Vic Elford?
Whoa.
Oh.
Tough one.
Yeah, and
Because I know you like both.
I know. And I've known both. As like Vic Elford, I did some driving stuff with for a year or so, and it was funny because he gave me his book and he signed it, and then he gave me some tips on my driving. He said a little bit less steering input next time, and I was like, okay, thanks, Vic.
That's great.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
we had to go out and we were doing some. It was for Pontiac, it's weird, but we'd do these whole ride and drive things around, and we'd go out and race around and give people rides. You know, we'd dice with each other and everything. So I got bloody Vic Elford behind me. He's probably sitting there smoking his cigarette, you know, with one hand on the steering wheel, and I'm like, come on, stay ahead of Vic, stay ahead of Vic. He's won them all. God damn it! And yeah, so that. I was probably over trying just a little bit, and I think he cottoned on to that.
Yeah.
And then I spent a lot of time, obviously, when I was working with Audi for the McNish, and
Yeah.
I've got to say McNish because I could, he'd want to go to bed before I would be tired of listening to what Alan McNish has to say about racing.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he knows so much.
Alan's awesome.
He was so
He
talented,
is an
but he
awesome guy.
worked every minute of the day to be as good as he ended up being, and it was just an honor to get to know him that well, to be able to sit down and chat with him for that long and everything. And to this day, I still see him from time to time, and he's more than happy to sit and have a chat. So yeah, McNish.
Yeah,
but
he's
God,
Such
Vic was
a good
amazing.
guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to write a book, my own autobiography, just so I can do that. To Paul, you were kind of good on the podcast. Like, could you imagine like Christmas for your family? You were always my favorite aunt. I didn't like you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, you're okay. Try.
That's good.
You just need more talent, Paul. That's all. Yeah.
That's
Right.
right. Try a little harder.
Yeah, be
Right.
better.
Yeah. Alan's a great guy. I remember I interviewed him once, and then the second time I interviewed him, I was at Petite, and I was waiting in a media scrum to interview him with all the other press. And it was interesting because all the other press is print and online press, and here I am with the podcast. And he comes out, and we're all standing there, and he sees me, and he says, and someone says, well, so-and-so's from Autosports. And he goes, no. He goes, he pointed at me, and he said, Todd. And I said, hey. He goes, come on in. And he took me into the motorhome, and we sat down, and he would have talked for an hour. We had the best time talking. He was telling me he just got back from Disney World with his family. He was, and we just talked about all kinds of stuff. He just couldn't have been a nicer guy. So,
Yeah.
That's Alan McNish.
The teacups are your favorite. I knew it.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah, right. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah.
Let's see, Grace. Fisichella or Massa?
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to go Felipe Massa.
Ooh, who makes better
had-
pizza?
Fisichella.
Who has better sunglasses?
Fissy.
Fissy for sure.
Who does my wife think is cute? Fissy.
Fissy is cute. I mean, he was. I haven't seen him recently. I'm just going to assume he's still cute. It's fine. But I think Massa has his range. Somebody who needs to write a real book, because I think Felipe Massa would write a very nice version.
Ian
It's kind of like
says, Ian says it's a sympathy vote you've given Massa.
I don't know, but there's so much there. I mean, Massa was going to be the next Schumacher, and then wasn't, and then
he wasn't.
Singapore, and he didn't
Then
get
you
a
had to pull over and let Alonso by.
Yeah, and then he had his last race in Brazil, and then just kidding, it wasn't your last race, and I just think there's been a lot going on there for Massa.
Melton says, who drives over the fuel hose?
That's what I mean. Like, I just think there would be so many moments from Felipe Massa. And I think if I was just like...
Poor Felipe.
I have so many questions. Where do I begin?
Mm-hmm.
He is a really nice guy, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. That's why
I've met him several times.
But that's why if he writes a book, I want it to be like ghost written by like Flavio Briatore, somebody that has a real axe to grind. Because Felipe Massa doesn't strike me as that kind of person.
Yeah.
You know,
Except for his big lawsuit
like
against Formula One, he may spend a few chapters on that one.
Guys. It's fine.
He's got chapter 1 on his whole career, and chapter 2 through 29 is all about how he should have been world champion.
Right.
Yes, and then that time I met Keanu, it's fine.
Right.
All right.
And the foreword written by Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. And finally, the final question for both of you.
Okay.
Paul.
Yeah.
Brie or cheddar?
Cheddar. Way many varietals with different flavor profiles, etc. Brie is great.
Yeah.
And triple cream brie is the bomb, but cheddar's way, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just more versatile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It is. I agree.
It's like a Kimi Räikkönen. You want, he can do NASCAR, he can do trucks, he can do Formula One, he can do rally. You want a nice cheddar.
That's right.
Brie's good, but all he can do is Formula One.
That's right, Lewis Hamilton.
Peter and Ian have recommended cheeses.
Lewis Hamilton is brie, and Kimi is
brie.
Kimi is cheddar.
He pairs well with.
In conclusion, this whole podcast,
and
this is what we bring to you, people.
Lewis Hamilton is Brie. That might also make a good show title.
He's Brie with a club cracker and a slice of a pear.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's you, Lewis.
Who's Manchego? That's
Grace.
the big one. Yeah.
Maldonado.
No.
According to Paul, it's Ocon.
Ocon.
Yes. That is right.
Ocon.
Yes.
Manchego. Ocon. Yes.
Gosh.
That's it.
Perfect.
All right.
Man. That's
Are you
hard.
ready, Grace?
I don't know. I don't know if Ocon's ready. I hope he doesn't listen to this. If he,
No, he doesn't.
Esteban, meet me a camera too. Like if you made it this far, I'm sorry.
I'm sure Gasly listens, but I
Yeah,
don't.
Gasly does. He loves it.
All right. Okay.
It's rough.
Here we go, Grace. Curry or Korean barbecue?
Those are very different animals.
They are.
Are we talking Indian curry or Thai curry? Because I know we had this earlier
Indian.
discussion. Oh, I think I'm going to go Korean barbecue. If we were talking Thai curry, I think this would be closer because I
What
can
would
eat
you
Thai
say,
curry
Paul?
all day. But
God.
Paul,
What would
he's
I
British.
say?
He's going to go with a curry.
It's got to be the curry. Korean barbecue.
He's going to
Come
go
on.
curry.
Way too much sugar.
Yeah.
Just cover the stuff with blah. Curry.
cover the stuff with
So many levels. So many levels of
That would
curry.
also- Also make a good show title. Let's cover
Peter
the
says
stuff with
Vindaloo.
Oh, well, I mean,
Vindaloo, well done,
100%.
Peter. Yep.
I could eat a Vindaloo all day. Delicious.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right, I've
knew
got
Paul-
a question.
Oh,
If you
Grace?
guys have the memory for it, for everyone.
Okay.
Favorite podcast you did? Because I've got mine in my mind.
favorite podcast.
So I'm going to say it's the one that
Okay.
all three of us did when we were at the F1 race in Austin.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
that was good. Yeah.
very cool.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes. Great. Yes, that was great.
yeah.
That one was a good one.
If only we had a budget, we might be doing more. But there you go. That's when we finally
No.
all got together, did a podcast
Yeah.
from our Formula One race. It was good
Yes.
fun.
Wow. You
That
don't need
was.
nearly the budget if we all want to go to the MotoGP race in Austin in
Yeah.
April. So I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 2 hours for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I'm trying
Yeah,
to
it was a
remember
long time
when it
ago.
was.
There's been a lot many,
Yeah.
but yeah, just that's always a long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was a
Wow,
good
that was
one.
that was a great answer.
I had other good ones with Grace when I was in DC. Those were fun. Had
Yeah.
fun holiday ones with Paul.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
Yeah,
the holidays. Those are great fun. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
I was gonna say
question.
I did also really enjoy the one where we did racetracks with songs. Like our favorite, like what song would you go with that track?
Yes.
Like those ones are fun, you know, like when we kind of do the.
That must have been over the breaks too, Christmas break, surely, right?
Yeah,
it was over holidays.
Yeah, and then one time we did like the cheese made me think of this, like if drivers were cheese, right? Like you know, like
Lewis's Prix.
Right, I do enjoy these kind of like fun, out of nowhere kind of concepts we have to pull together. So
yeah.
Yes. Well, Peter misses Paul's pre-race postings.
Oh yeah.
He misses my chalk talks. I enjoyed doing those. They took a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I still am trying to do TPF stories because I do really enjoy doing those. It just takes a lot of research time and I'm getting swamped.
Yeah, unfortunately, my racing schedule has made it very difficult for me to do the pre-race
even podcasts.
Tracks. And yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, all right. Well, that does it.
Oh, we could do WEC. That would be fun. I'd go to
WEC.
WEC.
I know I'm going.
We could do that. Yeah, Paul's going.
I'll be there.
Hey, we could go to WEC, Grace, and do the podcast from the Heart of Racing, location.
Ooh, yes.
And we could ask if Paul is there, and he could be like,
and we could ask if Paul's there.
Who are these people?
I'm sorry. My dear, what's your name? Yeah. Could you go get Paul off the pit wall because he's got to come on the podcast? There's a race going on. How the hell with a race? He's on the podcast.
Just give me your headset and we'll just do it, right?
Right. That would be good.
We need to ask him a question about his favorite beer. Yeah.
Paul's worlds colliding.
Yeah.
That would be great.
In a way that he may not enjoy, but we would enjoy.
We would love it. All right. Well, that does it for the podcast number 900. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's totally different. I realize that, but I just thought it'd be fun to get to know Paul and Grace a little. And
please send all the Mark Marquez hate mail.
Yeah, right.
Info at.
I feel like that's the one I'm going to have to live with. But I'll stick with
I've got his back. So anyway. Great fun. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon listeners that have joined us live in the chat. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, always.
The comments are fantastic. Love it. You guys, if you support us as a Patreon supporter, you can go to our website, theparkformay.com. Just scroll down to the bottom left. You'll see a link. You can click on it. If you support us for as little as $1, you'll get links to our podcast. You can join us as an audience and interact with us while we're recording. And it's great fun. I really do appreciate you guys joining from all around the world. Gigi's in Australia and Peter in New York. And I don't know where Melton and everybody else is from, but Ian and John.
Well, Melton always meets me at Atlanta, so I think he's up.
Yes, he does.
That way.
Maybe he's East Coast too. Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. And if you like the podcast, give us a good rating on your favorite player. Spread the word. Share the podcast. Tell people about it. Tweet it. Post on Instagram. Help us get out there and spread the word. And until next week, I guess it's going to be a race, is it not?
Is it? The season?
Yeah. This would be Mondays, right? So it would be the week after.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
The 26th will be the Zandvoort.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul will be back. Paul and I will be back next week to do Zandvoort.
And if anyone's in if anyone's in Elkhart Lake
Wisconsin
area, come visit. We're racing in Elkhart Lake with the Harder Racing GT4 Astons. So should be
Ask for Paul.
Ask for me.
Ask for Paul.
Anyone, just walk around the gift shop, whatever. Is Paul around?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll find me.
If you see anyone that has Heart of Racing on their gear, just go up to him and say, "Hey, do you know where Paul's at?"
Yeah.
That'll work. So anyway, if you guys are around Elkhart,
first. That's the right answer.
That is the right answer.
Gigi, you're right.
Yes, Gigi's right. Try the bar first.
Have
He's
you
there
seen
with
Paul?
an IPA.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'll check back later.
All right. Until next week when we come back for a race review, thank you so much. And thank you for following us, all of these podcasts. It's very special. And a huge, huge thank you to Paul and Grace for doing all of these episodes with me as co-hosts. I am indebted to both of you. And it's just been wonderful. And I still enjoy every part of it. So, anyway, until next week when we come back to it again, this is Todd, a.k.a. Negative Camera, saying so long.
Game over, man. It's game over. It's not what I feel I've got to prove at all. I don't really want to prove anything. I started as an amateur with no idea or no intention of becoming world champion. I was curious to find out